It's been a long time since I filmed a video. That's my bad. I've kind of been having a really hard year, maybe one of the hardest years of my life. But I don't really want to make a whole thing about it. Unfortunately, my 25 by 25 thing was on pause for like 5 months. I didn't really do anything, let alone anything on my list. But recently I feel like life has been starting to get a bit more on track, and so I've been doing some of the things I would have liked to. I'm gonna try and give myself, instead of till my 25th birthday, which is in August, and in the beginning of August, and it is July 26th today, so I don't really have a lot of time. I'm gonna try and give myself to the end of 2023, the end of this year, to try and do all the things on my list. And the reason being, I started this anyway around the end of last year, and so I'd rather give myself a full 12 months and not put pressure on myself and try and like do a bunch of things in the next month, because I'm also working and I don't have a lot of time like that. But I have done about 8 things since the last time I filmed one of these videos, so I'm just gonna kind of list them off and like talk through them like I did last time. It's been difficult to take this camera with me and film the things I have been doing, but I have been taking photos, and so I'll try and like pop them up, and hopefully that way it'll help me remember as well. So the first thing I did was I took a little solo mini road trip about an hour and a half away from where I live to a small town in Ontario called Elora. It's a really pretty town. It looks a little bit European, and there's a big gorge that you can hike around. So I hiked the Elora Gorge, and it was a beautiful summer day. I'm glad I did it. I just have my list here that I'm looking at, but the second thing I did, which is a resolution I made earlier in the year, is to catch at least 25 sunrises before my 25th birthday in this 1 year. And I think I've caught more than 25. I haven't taken pictures of all of them, but I do wake up pretty often before the sunrise, and so I've been trying to make it a point to get out of bed, watch it rise, and then sort of start my day or go lie down for a little bit more before I carry on. So I have seen 25 sunrises. They've not all been pretty at all, but it was cool. I got to see some in London when I was visiting there. I saw one on Valentine's Day in February. I saw one a couple of days ago, so it was like a big variety over winter, spring, and now summer.
Please keep your bags and personal belongings with you at all times. If you see something that doesn't look right, report it to a member of staff or text the British Transport Police on 6.
Another thing I really wanted to do was to make 10 new meals or learn 10 new recipes. So I'm vegan, and I find it kind of difficult to find vegan recipes that I really enjoy that taste good, and so I made a resolution to find 10 new recipes, try 10 new meals that I can like put into my dinner or lunch rotation, and so I made a bunch of different things. I made tahini garlic tofu pasta, I made kale pesto sausage pasta, I made Mexican vegan burrito bowls, I made oat fudge bars, I made homemade vegan crunch wraps. I made a bunch of things. So either I'll put a list or some pictures here of different meals I've made, and I'm proud of myself for that. And I keep doing more as well, so I've gone way past the 10, but I wanted to try at least 10. And I have a bunch of new meals that I make now, that I actually buy and cook, instead of ordering out or anything like that. Another thing I really wanted to do this year was write more and actually do something with the writing. So I have been putting a lot of my writing together. I wouldn't say it's a book. It's about half of a book right now. Maybe it'll be a book one day, who knows? But I have been writing a lot, and I have sort of like an idea of what I want it to be and what it looks like all together. And by writing I mean poetry. I don't really write like fiction and stories, although maybe one day, hopefully. But I've been writing poetry. To me, most of them are like unfinished songs, unfinished song lyrics. That's how I think of them. I never really think of them as poems, but I guess with no melody and no instruments, they are poems. It's poetry. So I've been writing a poetry book. It's weird to say that because I haven't said that aloud to anybody, and I haven't been thinking of it as a poetry book in my head either. But it exists. It's not finished, and I don't know if anyone will ever see it, but I'm doing it for myself. So the next thing I did was I took a pottery class, just a single class, not a course. I have wanted to do wheel throwing pottery my whole life. I think the idea of like making something at the wheel is so cool, and I actually got to do it. I made 2 bowls. They're not done yet. They have to dry, and then I can paint them and they can be fired and glazed. So hopefully I'll be able to do the painting part and then get them fired and show some footage later, maybe in another video or something. But I made 2 little bowls and I decorated them. So I'm very happy with that, and I really enjoyed it. It's honestly something I could see myself doing so much of if I had the time and resources, because it's just doing something like that with your hands and focusing on it is so good for me mentally, and you're creating something, you get something out of it, so I find it really enjoyable. Another thing I told myself I would do this year is seriously think about a podcast. I've been saying for years and years to my friends and my like cousins that we should have a podcast. We have great conversations. We're pretty funny, if I do say so myself. And so I finally sat down, and I didn't want to like start a podcast or anything this year, but I really wanted to seriously think about it. So I have an idea, a title, and I went online and did a bunch of research and figured out sort of how to make a podcast happen, I guess, and like how you would put it together, record, share it, and stuff like that. So I did a bunch of research, put together an idea for myself, and so maybe one day, I'm not really working on it at the moment, but it's always in the back of my mind. I borrowed mics from the library to like plug into my laptop to figure out how recording works, see how good sound is. The cat's gonna walk by. See how good the sound is and things like that. And I'm proud of myself for doing it, because at least now if I do decide to do something like that one day, I kind of have a little bit of a foundation. The last thing I'm going to talk about today, because it's almost time for me to leave work. It's early in the morning, in case I haven't said that already. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is I went for a trail ride, so I went horse riding. I've wanted to learn horse riding since I was a little girl, and I never got the opportunity. It's a very expensive endeavor, and I didn't want to force my parents into doing that. I'm still not learning. I still don't think I have the financial freedom to like go and do horse riding and invest in that. But I went for a trail ride, and I haven't sat on a horse or ridden a horse in like years and years. But I love horses dearly with all my heart. I think they're the sweetest creatures. And so I went sort of outside the city to this ranch that is in some valleys, and I did a trail ride through a forest on a horse called Mercedes, and I'll put some pictures here. I had a great time. It was just an hour long, but it was beautiful, and I would do it every evening if I could because it was just so peaceful, and the weather was perfect. So yeah, hopefully I get to do more of that in the future. I'm gonna end this video here and head off to work. I have a couple more things planned in the next few weeks that'll allow me to sort of tick more things off my list, but I'm gonna put them in a separate video because I don't want all the videos to be super long with like 20 things in each of them. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Apologies for being gone so long, and hopefully I'll be back soon.